When Jedi Knight Kanan Jarrus encountered the Bendu on the planet of Atollin during the Rebels Season 3 premiere, the Bendu quickly notices the violent and severe imbalance that is present within Kanan. As the two Force-sensitive individuals converse further, Kanan realizes that while the Bendu is a Force user, he's not a Jedi. The Bendu agrees, stating that he is neither a Jedi nor a Sith. Rather, he's in the middle, a representation of the center of the Force. More importantly, the Bendu informs Kanan that the Jedi and the Sith respectively wield what he refers to as the Ashla and Bogan, that is, the light and the dark sides of the Force. But what is the Ashla and Bogan, and what is their importance to our understanding of the Force within the Star Wars universe? In this video expose, I will describe the Ashla and Bogan and explain how in using these terms, the Bendu is connected to the ancient Jedai order that existed thousands of years before the events of A New Hope. In order to understand the Ashla and Bogan, and how they might influence the Bendu's commitment to balance in regards to the Force, it's first necessary to understand how the ancient Jedai order was formed. 36,453 years before A New Hope, 8 large starships, pyramid in shape, called the Thoyor, were spread across the galaxy and used the Force to call to Force-sensitive individuals who inhabited the planets that the ships were on. When calling out through the Force, the Thoyor would attempt to convince these individuals to board the large ships, which they were successful in doing. The Thoyor then departed from the original planets that they were stationed upon and traveled to the galaxy's deep core. While traveling towards the center of the galaxy, the large starships also called out to other Force sensitives along the way, whereby they would allow them to join the journey with the other Force users already on board. Ultimately, the 8 large starships made their way to the planet of Tython in the deep core of the galaxy, where they met up with a 9th and much larger starship that was already there waiting for them. As the Force-sensitive passengers began to disembark the starships, having reached their destination, they immediately recognized that Tython was significantly strong in the Force, in a way that was different from what any of them had previously experienced. These pilgrims from around the galaxy understood that they were brought to the planet to study the Force and to learn and comprehend the abilities that could be provided through it. These Force-sensitive travelers to Tython would make their home on the planet and form the ancient organization known as the Jedai Order, whereby they were unified in their conviction and adherence to the Force. Importantly for the purposes of this video, these first pilgrims to Tython quickly learned the importance of balance between the light and dark sides of the Force, as the planet physically reacted with powerful and destructive quakes and force storms whenever there was an imbalance between the two sides. Recognizing this crucial component of balance, the Jedai Order adhered to a philosophy of balance between the light and the dark, which they saw as two necessary parts to a single whole, in order to preserve peace and restrain chaos. For these early Force-sensitive Tythons, the light and dark duality present within the Force was physically represented by 2 moons that orbited the planet of Tython, and which were visually present in the night sky. Ashla, the moon that was bathed in light and therefore appeared bright, took on the representation of the light side of the Force. Bogan, the moon that was obscured by darkness and which had a rusty brown appearance, represented the dark side of the Force. When the first pilgrims set foot on Tython, their observations of the moons Ashla and Bogan helped them to form their conceptions of the light and dark sides of the Force, and the need for harmony and balance between them. Ultimately, due to the influence of the moon's representation of the light and dark sides, these first settlers of Tython and creators of the Jedai Order came to know the light side of the Force by the name Ashla, and the dark side of the Force by the name Bogan. Roughly 10,000 years after the original formation of the ancient Jedai Order, the moons of Ashla and Bogan still played an important role in the Order's conceptions of the light and dark sides of the Force, and the necessity of balance. Members who had turned too far to the light side of the Force were sent to Ashla so that they could contemplate and meditate upon the darkness of Bogan, which would have been visible to them. Likewise, members of the Order who strayed too far to the dark side of the Force were sent to Bogan so that they could contemplate and meditate upon the light of Ashla. Clearly, the need for balance between the light and dark sides of the Force was still a crucial tenet for the ancient Jedai Order at this time. Therefore, in using the terms Ashla and Bogan when referencing the light and dark sides of the Force, and in focusing on Kanan's internal imbalance, it's apparent that the Bendu has a strong connection to the philosophical positions that underpin the ancient Jedi Order. Going forward, it will be incredibly interesting to see how this centrist philosophy influences other characters within the Star Wars universe. As for someone like the Bendu, both the Jedi, who completely abandoned the dark side and wield only the light, and the Sith, who completely abandon the light side and wield only the dark, have it wrong, and misconstrue the nature of the Force. Not only do I look forward to see how the Bendu's notion of balance influences Kanan and Ezra in Rebels, but I look forward to the potential influence that it has on future orders and characters like Kylo Ren, who we know was specifically chosen by Snoke as he saw him as a focal point between the light and dark, or even upon the Knights of Ren or Luke's Jedi Order. As we've seen both the annihilation of the Jedi Order and the Sith Order, this potential for a third philosophy could be very promising. So there we have it, the Bendu's connection to the ancient Jedi Order, and the meaning behind the terms Ashla and Bogan that he uses. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me, for flying pyramids.